our shenanigans are cheeky and fun.
Yeah, I mean, his shenanigans are cruel and tragic.
Which makes them not shenanigans at all, really.
Evil shenanigans.
I swear to God, I'll pistol whip the next guy that says shenanigans.
You mean shenanigans? Oh! You know about shenanigans, right?
So anyways, this is what I was thinking about the Holocaust joke I was telling you the other night.
I did hit the button this time.
But my mind thinking, right? Maybe the Holocaust was just a real serious game of hide and seek. Have you ever thought of that?
No.
You never thought of it that way?
I don't even know if I understand how you're thinking of it like that now.
Well, we'll just say all the Jews and stuff went around trying to hide and shit, right? From the Nazis, correct?
Yeah.
But then if they get found, they get to be dead.
Yeah.
So it's a real serious game of hide and go seek if you think about it.
God damn.
Maybe that's where hide and seek came from. No? Am I wrong? Am I wrong on this?
Oh, you're starting this off on a great note.
Am I wrong? I don't
No.
think I'm wrong.
I mean,
I think
the premise needs a little massaging, but you hear plenty of jokes like that out there, which means I'm going to go ahead and say, welcome to
punk ass is Holocaust.
and Random Heroes Cheeky Shenanigans. Wow.
Shenanigans.
My name is Jesse, a.k.a. Random Hero.
My name's Nick, a.k.a. punk ass, because as you can see, I am one.
You just swung right for the fences.
I went
I had
through-
just clicked the button, and you're talking Holocaust jokes
I was
already.
just thinking I might as well hit a home run. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know if that ball stayed fair or went foul.
Like, look at Anne Frank, right? She hid in a fucking attic for how long? Or a basement?
I don't know how long it was.
Yeah, see? She's a very good hider. She could play hide and seek very well, dude.
I think that people tend to be better at hide and seek the more that's on the line. Like, if it's just some punk kid who's going to touch you and say, you're it, yeah, you can maybe just hide behind the couch. But
So hiding in a laundry basket is not a good way to go. Actually, they probably didn't have laundry baskets back then, maybe.
you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
I wonder if laundry, I mean, people have probably always needed a place to put their laundry. I don't know if it was always a basket.
Maybe a horse's ass.
Maybe
Who knows?
like a bucket.
Maybe
A
shenanigans.
hole in the ground.
Yeah. Like the Asian do, where they just squat over the hole and
The Asian dude?
Asians do. Like
I don't
the
think they
Asians.
still do.
Yeah, they do. They're
What?
not going to change their fucking culture just because of us whiteys.
I don't think that people's toilet habits are a cultural thing, to be honest.
What do you mean?
So, okay, so how differently do you think people go to the bathroom? Like, let me rephrase this.
In China,
No, let
they
me
don't have a toilet.
Let me rephrase this. So in countries, China's definitely, a more modern country now. So let's get rid of all the countries that are like third world and don't even have bathrooms.
Like Africa.
Get rid of those. Just focus on the ones who at least have toilets somewhere. Do you really think people are using them that differently from country to country?
No, I'm just only talking to the ones where they have to squat over the hole and then they go. Like, how do you aim? Like, well, where's your aimment on that? You just.
I don't think.
And then
it's
how
about
far?
aiming.
How far do you pull your pants down?
Hopefully at least to the ankles.
Like if you go all the way down to the ankles and you hover over, don't you have a chance to like just like going in your pants?
Maybe. I would be more worried. Okay, so if you're like squatting down and you've got pants around your ankles, I'd be more worried that I was doing this in this hole and then I would just lose my balance and
then fall over.
Yeah, I'd be like falling on into the porta potty or something.
And then like how big is this hole? Is it like this big? You know what I mean? It's not gonna be really big. It's not gonna be this big.
Yeah, I don't know if there's such thing as aiming when you're taking a shit.
Like I want to go over there and try it one time. Actually, I could probably do it outside. I'll just dig a hole.
Just dig a hole, man.
Just dig a hole.
It's not like you have to go and find this crazy technology you haven't used before.
No.
It's a hole.
No.
And I think that we're coming by the kind of gross and offensive humor pretty honestly, considering we just saw Joe Rogan and Dave Chappelle on Friday night.
Yes,
and it
we
was
did.
fucking amazing.
The only thing that sucks is they locked your phone, so I had to put my phone in a bag the whole time, so I couldn't record any of his funny bits.
Well, that's probably the idea.
Well, I know that, but sometimes you want to reminisce to be like, oh yeah, that shit's funny. So I had to like get my brain to like pay attention.
Oh, you
and
mean
now,
like before cell phones existed?
Yeah, and like now it's just like all gone. The only one I really paid attention to was the fucking, if I was a pedophile, but I'm not, then it would be Macaulay Culkin. Because what pedophile wouldn't want Macaulay Culkin?
Yep. That was the whole thing about Michael Jackson. The funny setup for that bit was when he's going, so Michael Jackson, this guy, he's been dead for like 10 years, still coming up with like 3 new charges.
Oh, yeah, they're still going at him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was trying to say how he's like almost going to be there at some point, something like that. Someone's going to come with him at something.
You never know. I mean, when you're a celebrity, you never know what people might find in either. If you did some bad shit, they might just find it and uncover it. But if you just set like a Kevin Hart, how he said those couple things, and then 10 years later, suddenly they came back to bite him. Like,
Get Kevin Harted.
yeah, like that sucks, you know. And at first, when I heard some of the homophobic quote unquote things he said, it bothered me a little bit. But when I actually heard, but when I heard Dave Chappelle put it into context and remind you this happened a long time ago, and if you just pay attention for a minute, he's clearly kidding.
Dave Chappelle is like the only one I know that can like say fucking anything, and then in the middle of it, you're like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, because his humor, it usually has some kind of a point to it. Like, he follows either a story or kind of like a logical thought process to where he's establishing a point by using funny and ridiculous examples.
And then at the end of it, everyone's giving him weed. He's like, fuck, it's like Christmas here.
So after the whole show was over, they stayed out. He brought Joe Rogan back on, and Donnell Rollins.
Ashy Larry was
he
there.
Did a small bit.
Yeah.
He should have had more time.
He's fucking
He
hilarious.
was hilarious. And then they also had, oh man, I don't remember the names of the first 2 comedians, but
Well, the black guy, I'm just going to say it, the black guy, he's like real close with Joe Rogan. I think he's part of the Joe Rogan podcast, I think.
I don't
So
think he's
something
ongoing,
like
but
that.
Yeah, he's
I
definitely
forgot
one
his
of his
name.
friends.
And the chick was funny.
Oh yeah, she
She
was
was like,
hilarious.
come on, Seattle, is this too gross for you?
Yeah, I'm gonna look her and that other guy up because I want to be able to give them some props.
She was
you know,
kind of
by
hot,
name.
too, a little bit. She's a little hot, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then he finally did it. I was waiting for it. Dave Chappelle did it right at the very end before he was about to walk out. Do you remember what he did?
No,
I'm rich, bitch!
Oh yeah.
I was excited for that. Did you find it over there?
I'm looking. I was kind of hoping you would talk for a few more.
Well, here,
minutes.
I am going to bring this up because Jesse's not the only one that goes through this. We're going to discuss this for a minute. When you go to events or some type of theater situation, sometimes the bathrooms aren't very privately friendly. I have the same issues where if it's just like a horse trough, sometimes I'll stand there, but then I think like someone's like going to start looking at me and then I can't go. So then I'll just start, I don't even try anymore. I just wait for the stalls now so then I can actually relieve myself. I know you had the same issue. I always have the same issue. I don't even try anymore unless I'm like drinking. If I'm drunk, then I don't give a shit. But for some reason, I got this homophobic thing and they're like, oh, they're looking at my dick and then I can't fucking go.
Yeah, that never used to be a problem with me, and it's still not for most urinals, but at the Tacoma Dome, they still have the trough style ones where there's no border between you and the other guys or anything. And for the first time in my adult life, I wasn't able to pee. And it wasn't only once, it was twice. I tried to go to the bathroom twice, and I even found a little corner of the thing, of the big trough. And it's clear when you're in line, none of the guys are looking at each other's dicks. They're all worried that everyone else
I know,
is.
it's so funny.
You know, you stand there and you instantly think everyone's trying to sneak a peek at your junk. Meanwhile, all that the other people are doing is trying to keep their eyes, down and forward, and they're trying to hold off people from looking at their junk. So it's like a whole bunch of guys playing hide and seek.
Yeah.
But there's no
like
one
the
trying
Holocaust.
to seek. I mean, you brought it up. I might as well pay it off a little bit.
But other than that, Joe Rogan's fucking hilarious. I was trying to figure out where he was going to go because sometimes he tries to do out of the like ballpark weird bits. Like the one I remember from one of his specials was something about like dolphins. But this time he made a bit that's actually related to everybody. I like the one where he was talking about, hey, come down to the Comedy Store and just go a little block and take a right. And then he was saying how you got to be careful because it's just like all gay people there and you got to lock your doors like it was going to be like a criminal because then you're going to get raped by a gay guy. I thought that one was funny. Dave Chappelle, the whole bit was just fucking hilarious. But Like I said, that pedophile one with Macaulay Culkin, that was the best one for me. Did you have a favorite one?
Any of the ones that were probably my favorite are ones that I don't fully remember at this point. I'm sure that they're going to end up making a special, maybe not out of the Tacoma date, but they're probably shooting this entire tour.
Well, see, that's where I get confused because, like, on the last episode of the Netflix special, he said, "Oh, well, it's my last one." So I don't know what to believe when he says. Even he said that there too. He said, "You might not see me for a while after this." Like,
right.
What does that mean?
I don't know, but unfortunately, I was looking up the info for the openers. I don't even remember jokes, let alone their names. We will get those, and I will tweet them out because both of the openers before Joe Rogan definitely deserve shout-outs.
Yeah.
And then after Joe Rogan, and he killed it. I've talked to people who thought he was better than Dave that night. And I would say that they were about equal. It's just I like Dave so much, and I've been such a huge fan of his for a lot longer than I've even really known much about Joe Rogan.
Like, right at the point where he was... I think he was going to mention about, like, Dave Chappelle, but he couldn't because people already knew what he was going to say.
Yeah.
And then he, like, had to give it... Like, he had to be like, all right, fucking cheer for it so we get it over with.
Yeah.
And then it'll fucking go on.
Yep. And so the structure was strange, though. So they had the lady opener, the black guy opener, and then Joe Rogan.
Mm-hmm. And then done.
Then they took an intermission.
Yeah, 15 minutes.
So I assumed after the intermission it was going to be Dave Chappelle.
Oh yeah, dude, I remember.
And the thing was, like, when you go to a concert, they have, a 10 to 15 minute change out in between each set. They don't do that at big arena comedy shows, we realize. So they have the first opener. As soon as she was done, and she killed it pretty well. The next guy came up right away, and he was introduced by Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
And then after him, Joe came right up. Like, it was just quick fire. And then they took the intermission, and then everyone thinks that Dave's going to come out, and it ends up being Danelle.
I know. I was like, that ain't fucking Dave.
Yeah, but, and even though, like, if I had known he was going to be there, I would have been more excited for it. But once he came on, and I thought he was just fucking around. He was singing that Old Time Road song.
Yeah, I hate that
I
song.
thought he was just trying to pump the crowd up and kind of be a hype man. But that ended up being part of his bit, which it ended up being a pretty funny bit. And then he must have done only about 10 minutes tops.
I mean, if you really think about it, I think he's just like Dave Chappelle's bitch, because then he was out in the crowd with the microphone.
I don't think he's his
questions.
bitch. I think that because the guy that went up right before Joe Rogan, Joe had said a lot of nice things about. So I think they had their opener, and then each of them had like a friend comedian who was coming on to warm up for them. So after the break, Danelle comes up because he's been Dave's friend since Chappelle show,
Yeah, Ashy Larry.
Ashy Larry.
Shit, man, my wife's gonna kill me.
She told me to just take out the trash.
I feel like Chappelle was he was wearing some weird shit.
It was weird, yeah.
I feel like he was trying to represent like Washington or Seattle with the plaid shirt that was cut off and like these short capri pants with like, I don't know if those were like Converses because they didn't look like it, but they looked like it.
They looked like the kind of Converse you would buy if you were a millionaire.
Like they looked like Nike Converses, like that go all the way above your ankle. I don't know.
The plaid shirt Dave was wearing was sleeveless all the way up to the shoulder, and the shirt itself went down to about his knees.
I know.
And some people commented on it, and he was just like, whatever, this is stuff I bought that was, high fashion or something like that. And one guy, after they were doing audience questions, and one guy's just like, Dave, what's up with your outfit?
And then I loved how
him out.
I forgot how the bit went, but I loved how Joe Rogan like said something, like called out all the sluts. And then he's like, see, look, they all right there. All the sluts and whores.
Yeah, it was something to do about like girls who, think that it's okay to have sex at all times. Like whatever it was. It sounded like a very pro like woman thing, like, let me hear it. And then he's like, quick, get those lights up. There's all the sluts.
Yeah, dude.
And I mean, it's obviously not as funny when we're repeating it.
No, it's
but
not.
you know, this is the kind of stuff, if you guys go to a comedy show, these are the kind of things that you'd probably bring up afterwards. Like, oh, it was so funny if...
It'll take you 3 hours to get there in traffic.
Oh, my God. Traffic
and then
was
you'll
the
have to
worst.
pay $40 for parking.
And then 3 hours home.
And then fucking 3 hours home because you got to wait for the fucking crowd to get out of there.
Yeah, we ended up leaving my house here in Snohomish at about...
It was 2:30.
2:30?
It was 2:30.
Well, then we had to stop in Everett. We were waiting in Everett for about another half hour. So we got on the road at about 3 o'clock, headed straight for Tacoma, which is, it's about 80 miles away. It's about an hour, hour and a half.
It's supposed to
in
be an
good
hour and a
conditions.
half.
Yeah.
Like the max.
And so we get down to about the Seattle area, and boom, just crawling for most of the rest of the way. I ended up falling asleep for a while.
You did.
And
if you need a fucking co-host fucking driver, don't have Jesse because he'll just fall asleep on you.
Dude, I have always been that way. And I think it's because later in my life, my mom told me how when I was a baby, they used to be able to get me to fall asleep easily by bringing me in a quick car ride. And so
Jesse's
I think...
go for a car ride.
So when... I normally am the driver if I'm going somewhere. I like kind of having that control and being the driver. But if I'm not, I'm usually passed out pretty quickly.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm done because this was a busy week for me because then I had Slipknot, so then I had to go.
How was Slipknot?
I had to go through all that traffic.
Yeah.
Slipknot was typically, I've seen a lot of bands. I've even seen Blink-182, Boxcar Racer, and Angels and Airwaves. But Slipknot was like the best show I've ever seen. Just how their stage was set up, and they sounded exactly like the record.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Did they play some new shit?
They did. I liked it.
Nice.
They didn't play Wait and Bleed, which is weird, which is like their #1 single. I don't. You probably don't know it, but
what do you mean? I probably
don't know
it.
Okay.
I don't recognize it by the track name, but half their songs that I like, I don't know the track names. I'll just put on a record and just let it.
That was the craziest crowd I've been in. I knew once that fucking sheet was going up, I was gone for her. I couldn't breathe. I'm usually used to that. Every time I try to take a deep breath, I got squished and I got stuck there. It was crazy.
Okay, so you've been to a lot of concerts. What would you say the absolute craziest audience was?
That one.
That one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the worst one I've ever been in.
What do you think is like the least crazy audience? Like, man, these guys need to wake up or something.
Fucking
you know?
The Bravery.
The Bravery? Yeah. I don't even know who they are.
Yeah, you do. Sorry.
Bomp bomp.
Yeah.
You don't either.
I know. I can't think of the song right
Just
now.
calling
But
them out. You don't even know who they are.
I don't even think they're around anymore.
Did you just burp
I did.
right into
this
the microphone?
This is a fucking podcast. It's our podcast.
It
We
is
can do what we want.
It is our
I can put my
podcast.
dick on this table and they can't do nothing.
Let's not do that.
You want to do it?
No.
What about my ball sack?
No.
You have a ball sack?
No ball sacks, no dicks.
What?
I do want to talk about what I was talking to you about on the way back from that show, though. So when we started this podcast, the idea was that it would be completely uncensored and just whatever we wanted to say goes.
Yes.
And then
yes,
when we started getting feedback from people about certain words or phrases that mostly Nick would use, you know, like the word retard or the word, fag or whatever, like, or just general
or
bashing.
Negro.
No, you're not.
I said Negro.
Yeah, but I'm drawing the line.
I'm drawing the line. You
on
can't
any
say.
form of that. But, and Joe Rogan actually did a pretty good bit about this where he's like, I wish you could have like 2 free retards. Like you could say it twice for free as long as you don't say it to that person or you're not trying to be mean with it. Then you just pay $150 per use or whatever. I like that because it's acknowledging that there's 2 different ways to say a word like that. One is to be cruel and hateful towards someone who's part of that group, or the other one is to ironically call someone, that's not retarded a retard. That's an ironic use of that word.
Yeah, be like, you sound like a retard right now.
Yeah. So, and I'm not going to get in the habit of saying it, but what I told Nick is, so after we started getting some feedback and I was hearing that, I started to get more and more sensitive about saying those words. And I'd started, trying to get Nick not to say them. And what I realized is that that's not who I want to be. I don't want anyone to feel hated on or feel marginalized or shitty because of whatever we talk about here. But from the very beginning, we've said that
Yeah, we said
everything
we're
that we
just
talk
kidding.
about is always in a comedic context. And so there's going to be people who have a problem with the use of those words, but I'm not going to be someone who's going to start censoring us when our whole goal on this show was to not be censored. So I'm going to be backing off of that a little bit, and that may be difficult. It may cost us some followers. I recognize that, but it's going to be more true to what we tried to do when we started this whole thing. And I want to stick to, I want to be someone of integrity before popularity. And it's weird to me to say the word integrity in defense of using words like that, because I'm still not really going to say them. But it really is an integrity issue. It really is, not backing down from who we want to be. And what we're trying to do is be realistic and funny. And yeah, we'll have some conversations that get serious, but at the end of the day, usually Nick will jump in and make some off-the-wall random comment that derails a serious talk anyway.
No.
Like you're thinking about doing right now, I bet. But I told him that I was done trying to censor him, and we're just going to let ourselves be who we are on here. And so, yeah, I mean...
That's like trying to take someone special out of the Special Olympics and put them in real Olympics. Can't do that to me.
Did you ever watch... Did you ever watch The Ringer with Johnny Knoxville?
Yeah.
Yeah, that movie is hilarious. But it really underlined, some cool aspects. He genuinely became friends with and respected, the people who were challenged like that.
Where the fuck did we get ice cream?
and that's what it ultimately is for me. It is, I know that neither one of us hate on people if they are mentally challenged or if they are gay or anything else like that. We don't. I accept all of you guys as you are. But sometimes those words, whether you've been grown up with them or whether you just use them in specific context, sometimes those words are still okay to say, I believe.
Now let's get to Nick advice over here. Nick's advice, Punkass's advice, is saying if I had someone special with Down syndrome or like a brother or sister and I heard people saying retard, knowing who I am now, I'm not going to care because they're not, I mean, it's not nothing related to my brother and sister unless they're directly saying it to their face. See what I'm saying?
Right.
So if I say you're a retard on here and if somebody gets offended by it, then I don't understand how they can because they know we're joking. I feel like their feelings get hurt way too easily.
Yeah, and I'm tired of...
And they're part of that society that's wrong with everything.
Yeah, let's not get offended when someone clearly doesn't mean something in an offensive way. Now, obviously, there's going to be people that are offended no matter what. There's going to be people who don't like the fact that we're saying that we're going to allow this kind of speech on here.
I'll just bring it up, like, in the beginning with, me and Lindsay and the drama that we had with, like, my daughter's mom, right?
Yeah.
My daughter's mom would, talk a lot of shit online because that's the only thing that she does best. It's just crazy. But Lindsay took really hard to what, she would say. Like, she has that personality of, I don't want people to think of me that way. It bothers me. So I had a hard time trying to stop all that because I can't control somebody else. But if someone talks shit to me online or anything, I don't care because I have that, like, I don't care what they think of me. I'm my own person. But it was hard trying to, there's people like that actually, like, care, and it gets tough sometimes trying to change their minds and being like, no, it's okay. So it does, I understand what you're saying, how some people get offended, but I feel like they shouldn't, even though it's easier said than done.
And the other issue for me is that if those people are going to be offended by us using words ironically like that, then honestly, this probably isn't the best show for them to be watching in the first place. Yeah. Because we say a lot of shit. There's other words we use that could be offensive to people that you wouldn't consider offensive.
Yeah, like I can't even say midget anymore, man.
Right. And I mean, yeah, they may prefer little people or whatever, but like there's words, that word means little person.
Now, is it okay
the word midget means little person.
If a midget says midget, just like a black person says the N-word, be like, hey, little midget,
what's up, my midgies?
Yeah.
No, I don't know. But the N-word being the exception to all this.
The N-word is like like the holy grail of words like nobody could ever say unless you're black.
And it's a word that I would love to take the sting out of and, make it so that one day it doesn't offend people, but it's acknowledged all the way around the world, basically.
Like the only time I'll say
You
it
can't say it.
is if I'm in my car rapping to a song by myself.
I mean,
and then I get all ghetto, like, yeah!
and that's the thing, is that I have trouble even saying that word, in the context of a song I'm singing along with. But if you're saying that on your own, you're not calling someone that word by singing a lyric. You're not intending it that way. No. And so, in my opinion, that word only has that meaning when you're saying it to, you're being a N, or you are an N. That's what it means. But,
you are an N.
Yeah.
And now. And now.
But like, we've got to start paying more attention to the context and the intentions of things, because way too many people get up in arms over shit that not only wasn't meant to offend them, but was probably never meant for them to even hear in the first place. Like, if you say the word retard on here and you use it in a specific way that might bother someone who's listening to it, well, guess what? You don't know that person exists. You're
true.
not trying to make them feel bad. You couldn't be.
That's like if us, like, we're jacking off to somebody, they don't know that we exist or even jacking off to them.
Unless you tell them.
Yeah, like Louis C.K. I'm jacking off, dude. Get out of here if you want to stay. Get in trouble.
Well, and that, I've always wondered, like, what it's like for a woman to hear that from a guy. Like, it feels like it'd be weird to ever say that, but it's got to be even weirder to hear it. Like, porn stars. They know that people are doing that while watching and thinking of them all the time. What is that like? What is it like to know that, like, oh, whenever I get naked, you literally beat off to that? Like,
I know that is weird. I always thought it's weird how, like, girls, like, would be like, oh, why don't you whack off so I can watch? I'm like, no. I don't know.
Yeah, there's no part of me doing that to myself that is a private show or anything. Like,
I feel like I'm retarded when I'm doing it. I gotcha. Okay, well, let's get out of this Jesse rant here for a second.
It's not even a rant.
It's a little rant.
If anything,
anybody that listens to this knows where it was going.
Yeah, but if anything, I was trying to kind of make a passive apology.
And then DJ Fallen, last time that he was on here, he said he always knows what I was gonna, like, come up with something, but I bet he didn't figure it out in the beginning of the get-go when I was bringing up the Holocaust, did you? You didn't see that coming.
I don't even know what you just said.
Remember, he was saying how he can tell when I'm about to say something stupid or I'm about to go into something offensive.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to bring up.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, so everyone knows what a good Jesse rant looks like, probably as it's building up. But that was never intended to be a rant. That was me trying to explain the complex idea that I don't want to censor what you say or even what I say anymore, based on the fact that this whole idea is meant to be us, like, able to just talk and hang out. That's why we allow ourselves to vape on this show, even though it can be a little distracting, especially on the audio-only episodes. The whole idea is that we're comfortable. We're in my living room. Yeah, we've got a set kind of thing, but we want this to be just two guys talking, or when we have guests, it's still a conversation. We're not interviewing people.
Here, let's talk about vaping for a second here.
Yeah.
This has saved me a lot of money since November, since I quit smoking cigarettes.
How much?
I don't know. It's fucking like $10 a pack every day compared to like maybe $20 a coil and then $20 every 2 weeks for juice.
Yeah. And I love three things about vaping. I have a better lung capacity and more energy now. I don't smell like smoke all the time.
Yeah.
And it pays for itself with all the money I save on condoms.
But I know,
that's one of my stand-up bits.
There's going to be some side effects, kind of like smoking cigarettes. There's not 100% proof yet. I know it's not good for us, but I feel like it's a little bit better than smoking cigarettes. And I know people make fun of us because they say we're
douchebags. Yeah.
That and we're sucking on dicks. You know what I mean?
Well,
but it has helped me out a lot. So all you vape haters, fuck off.
Yeah, and I started vaping back in 2013, about a month after my dad died from lung cancer. And I was like, look, I can't keep smoking cigarettes. And so I stopped. And I the first thing that I noticed was I got my voice back.
Yeah.
I was having real trouble singing, even along with the radio for a while. And I'm a singer. Like, I know that cigarettes were taking my voice. This helped get it back. And some people have even said I'm better now than I was before. So.
And it fucking, like, I haven't had, like, one puff of a cigarette at all, but, like, now I can, like, actually, like, smell it on people. And I'm
right.
like, oh, that's fucking gross. That's what I used to smell like.
Exactly. Or, like, you can even smell it a couple cars away now if someone's smoking and have their window down, you know? Yeah, it's freaking crazy. But, I mean, douche mentality or not, like... The ironic thing is when a cigarette smoker comes and they're like, you know, that shit's bad for you. It's going to give you popcorn lung or something. It's like, okay, first of all, put down your cigarette before you tell me that shit.
That's like saying whacking off is bad for you. You're going to die soon. You know how many men would be dead? All of them. And then women would have to do this and start scissoring with each other.
Yeah.
Be like, oh.
For me, it's like some guy who drives a Hummer trying to tell me that my Ford pickup is bad for the environment. You know, like, dude, you're smoking cigarettes. These vaping might be an issue, but we definitely know that cigarettes are an issue.
Yeah, let's just, you know, the government just give us all fucking free Teslas. It's just my computer.
It's your computer?
Yeah, just don't worry. I'll put the sound. See, it's gone. Can't hear.
All right.
Okay, let's do this contest thing real quick. Let's get it out of the way. So, whoever wins, we're going to let it be known, and then you let us know what size you want, and then we will get it to you.
Yeah, we've only got a couple of the hoodies, but we did want to give one away to somebody who had liked and shared that post or on Instagram or whatever. So we took your names. We're not going to tell you how many there were, but there was more than like 2. So we took all your names, and Nick's got them in the hat.
I did it old school. We're just going to draw
a name out of the hat, and then you win a hoodie. Now, if we don't still have one now that is in a size you want, which is likely, then we will, or on the next batch, we will make sure that we order you one specifically, and we'll send it out. So whoever wins this, we'll end up tweeting you or getting a hold of you another way to get your shipping info, and you're going to get a free Cheeky Shenanigans hoodie.
All right, man. Well, let's just do it away on this.
Do you want me to pick?
Yeah, you should pick it since I wrote all the names and then
pick it. Oh, great! This means I'm not going to be able to read them.
Ah!
Oh, there's so many.
You got it.
All right, I got one.
Oh,
I got one.
Let's see who it is, huh?
Oh, this person's going to be happy.
Is it?
Wade.
Oh,
Nick's brother Wade won.
Look at that. And I don't even have to mail it out. I can just give it to him.
Yeah, and he was the first one to like and share that post.
Yeah.
I'm happy about that. Unfortunately, I don't think we have one that's in his size, though.
We might.
But, yeah, so, Wade, is it Atencio?
It's Wade Atencio, because he's a douchebag.
And, so he won the free hoodie. We'll probably do this again just because I'd rather have our hoodies out there than be hoarding them and hoping someone buys one. Like
I had all of our little like postcard things I worked on.
Why don't we just do another one?
You want to do another one?
Let's do one more.
Okay.
Because we've got a couple, and we're definitely going to be ordering another batch soon. And let's just do one more. Fuck it. These are people who have liked and shared our shit. They all listen to the show. Let's reward one more person. Okay, got one.
It's going to be hilarious if I think I know what's going on here.
It's Bree!
Yay, Brie cheese, because you smell like cheese.
My friend Bree, who has been listening to this show, I think, every single episode since the beginning.
And you can choose between 2 colors.
Yeah, we've got black and blue.
Black and blue.
And so Bree will definitely talk to you also and get your size and all that. So we probably have one that you can have right away because most of ours are medium and small.
Yeah.
So, cool. So Wade and Bree each won hoodies this week.
Yay! Yeah! Now you guys can all fuck off. Okay, I want to get into my little Fitbit here, okay?
Yeah.
Sometimes I get sporadic moments.
By the way, this episode, they're not our sponsors, but we found these today. Morning Wood.
And it looks like
energy
a chicken,
drinks.
but the chicken looks like a cock. And what's the bottom of it?
The bottom, it says, it's Sofa King Good.
So fucking good. Whoever makes these fucking just genius.
There's a solid 3 jokes in here, and they're made out of Bonnie Lake, Washington. So even though they don't sponsor us, this is freaking hilarious. We each got one. We just want to shout you guys out.
It's going to be worth money one day, dude. I'm unopened.
All right, so you go ahead and do your thing.
So I get into weird things like I I've always liked, like the pyramids and like treasure and pharaohs, and then sometimes, like Game of Thrones, I'll get into the medieval time shit.
Yeah.
And recently, I forgot about the medieval times back then. Whenever you would fuck up or, I don't know, not obey a law, they always had some real fucked up way of, punishing you. So I looked up like the most like top 10 medieval torturous ways, and it's just so fucked up. Like,
We're gonna talk about medieval torture.
yeah, like the way they would punish people. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like if we stole something, we just get a slap on the wrist maybe or go to jail.
Yeah.
Here, this is some weird shit. So I'm gonna pop it up here for people that watch the video so you can look at the picture at least, and then we'll just go down like maybe 5 of the worst ones that I thought
right.
that was cruel. So here is one. Wait, let me name it. This is called the saw, actually, and you'll know why in a minute. And bam, you see that?
Whoa.
Look at that. They hang them upside down, and they just saw them right in half. Look at that.
Oh my god.
Can you imagine that, dude?
I'm trying not to.
That's just fucking horrible.
Ugh.
Yeah, right?
What? So what? Do you know what the punishment was that would get you sawed like that?
Let's see.
Was that like calling someone?
Yeah,
a
but it
retard?
says the victim would be held upside down, allowing the blood to rush to their head, and then the torture would slowly start slicing them between their legs, dude. It's just,
Ugh.
yep,
Every part of that just sounds awful.
yep, that's a bad one. Okay,
All right.
next one. Let's see. I'm not gonna show it because it doesn't really show like a picture, but there's one called the breast ripper, where they like rip women's breast off back then.
Ugh.
That was a horrible one. There was one fucked up one in here, and I'm gonna find it for you. Where is it?
You're just doing this to make me super uncomfortable, aren't you?
Yep. No, I was just, like this one right here. Okay, it's called the Judas Cradle. Out of all of them, I feel like this is the most fucked up for like mentally and painfully.
All right.
Okay, because it's not an easy, quick death. All
Yeah.
right. So this is what it is. It's a pyramid-shaped thing, right? And they sit you on top of it, on top of the point. Either your asshole or a woman or a vagina would sit on top, and then they'd have your hands behind your back, but they put weights on you and keep you there so that you would slowly go down, and like it would rip you apart almost, but you're there forever.
So you're on like some kind of like a
The Judas Cradle was a pyramid-shaped and sharpened device on which a victim was lowered via ropes. As the victim was lowered, the device would slowly tear open their anus, vulva, or scrotum, though the device is often attributed to the Spanish Inquisition.
nobody expects the Spanish
And that's
Inquisition.
what it looks like. And then they would sit you on top of that, dude.
Oh my god.
Can you imagine the shit back then, dude? It's just horrible.
Well, and not only that, but the crimes necessary for these things were like they weren't that bad.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
know.
Think about it in today's terms. We use the Spanish Inquisition so much as like a common phrase for torture that people start to forget that all it took was for someone to name you a heretic and you would be subject to shit like what he's showing you. You know, this was real stuff that was happening to people who simply didn't believe in the God that everyone else did, or didn't follow it, or said something bad, or didn't even... There was people that never did anything, and they would torture them to get a confession. So you were guilty before you were even charged, really.
Right.
And, you know, it's easy to forget about all that shit because it's so long ago. But it's really not that long ago either in the whole context of humankind. And that's the kind of shit that we used to do. Like, that is fucked up. And it was all about God, you know?
Yeah, it's it's just... I'm so glad we live in this times. Like, even, let's see, like what century was like, you know, the Cowboys area? Was that like the 17th
Like early
century?
1800s.
Is it like
early
18th
to mid
century?
1800s? Well, no. So 18th century would be the 1700s.
Really?
19th century was the 1800s. 20th century was the 1900s. We're in the 21st century.
That's so
right now.
weird to me.
It's because
it's
you
like
can't
1 century off to being like even.
Yeah, but think about it. So in century 0,
Right.
you can't say that's not a century. That's the first century, even
That's
though
where
it's 0
Jesus-
to 99.
No, I don't know when Jesus came.
So,
What is it?
so Jesus was technically born on year
0.
0, which I guess would have had to have been 1. And because you can't have 0 year, you know, it just doesn't happen. There always has to be a number. So Jesus was year 1, 1 AD, AD standing for Ad Domini, or in the year of our Lord in Latin. So you have the first 100 years without a 1 in front of them. That's still a century. It's not the 0 century, it's the first. So every century is like 1 removed from the 1900s.
Because we're in the 21st century,
Yeah.
right? And then the 22nd century would be
2100.
really.
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna make it.
Oh, I don't think we are. I was born in 83, so I would have to live to be 117 to make it to that century.
I don't think I'm gonna make past 80, bro.
Which would mean that you die somewhere in like 2070.
Yeah. Can you imagine, like, in the Western days, right? Like,
Yeah.
you were old, really fucking old when you were like 40. Like, at 40, you were just like on the verge of dying back then. Now it's like you could probably make it up to 100 easily if you did everything right.
There's been a lot of them. There's been people who make it to 100 that don't do everything right. The fallacy is that people who live healthier think that they are always going to live longer than
And they
someone
end
who
up
doesn't.
getting cancer, and then the fucked up guys just live until he's 120.
Right. It's, I mean,
And that's how Jesus works? I think not. Gosh damn it.
living healthier gives you a better shot at living longer, but it guarantees you nothing. There's people who fall dead from an aneurysm right in the middle of their workout that they do every day for their whole adult lives.
You know, my buddy brought this up the other day. I don't know, he was just having a downtime, but he was talking about how, like, you know, these people that kill themselves, like Robin Williams or like Chester Bennington or the audio slave guy. I don't know his
Chris
name.
Cornell?
Yeah. All those
The
people.
audio slave guy?
I don't like him, so I don't.
I don't like his voice either, but I mean,
Hey,
Soundgarden.
Black Hole Sun, won't you come on my face and never see the rain? That's my song. So anyways, as I was saying.
Yeah.
He was saying how, what if when they killed themselves, like, and that's like the best life to ever live, because they always say, you know, when you die, you go to heaven or you go to some other magical place, and then they're thinking, oh, look at all these dumb assholes surviving on the world, and then little do they know, once they're dead, they're going to this magical place, and, you know, and shit like that.
Well,
Nobody ever, like, nobody knows. It's crazy where we go after, you know.
Yeah. But the other thing is that if they kill themselves, according to any kind of doctrine out there, they're not going to heaven.
Well, but see, that's the thing, though. So what if there was no religion at all? And once you die, you're just at somewhere happy. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if you kill yourself or not. You're still going there. So, and Osama bin Laden's going to be there. And then you're going to be hanging out with, you know, Hitler and having parties and shit. And be like, oh, you're a stupid asshole for playing hide and go seek. That's not very fun. You know what I mean? So,
Well, I mean, that's just as likely as it is that there is an actual heaven and an actual hell. It's just as likely that we all go somewhere warm and fuzzy, no matter what we did, as it is that there'd be some kind of punishment for that. The whole concept of an afterlife is just to make it a little bit easier for those of us alive to transition into that. You want something to hope for. In reality, I'm pretty sure that once the lights go out, that's it.
yeah. Or like with religion,
Yeah.
you can, well, we'll bring it up this way because you wanted to talk about it. Somebody with all these shootings going on, right?
Yeah.
The person can do all that and horrifically murder all those people, but then get into God and forgive all of his sins, and he gets to go to heaven. So how is that possible? But if you kill yourself, you're just going to hell. I see. That's where I'm like, I don't see this. I don't understand how this works. So
the religious side of that is very shaky also, because I've heard it a number of ways, and I grew up very devoutly Christian, but there's supposedly these mortal sins that are unforgivable.
yeah.
And according to at least the type of Christianity I was brought up in, suicide is one of them. Murder is not one of them.
That's crazy.
Corrupting a child in a way that prohibits them from believing in God is one of them. So, like, if you go out and you tell a bunch of church kids, hey, guess what? There's no God. Nothing matters, blah, blah, blah. If there is a God, he would consider that a mortal sin. Anything that
Just
corrupts
like
a child in any way.
I hate to say it, it's just like pedophiles too. They're just like, oh,
Yeah.
forgive me, and then what? They go to heaven? Fuck that, dude.
See, I wouldn't agree with that. I
Yeah.
think that there should be sins that you can't recover from, because there's things you can do that are unforgivable on the human side. You know?
Yeah, there is. Now, what if all said and done, we were just made by some weird fucking alien species, like fucking,
It could be
Thanos. I don't know.
I mean, it's just as likely. Any of our mythologies or any of our ideas about it are just as likely as the next because we have no idea.
Like Zeus.
Yeah, what if Zeus is like really the god? And
I
it's
know.
like, how have you fuckers forgotten about me for 2,000 years
I
now?
know.
You know, like.
And then he fucking sheds lightning on all of our assholes. And then we go down to Hades.
Yeah. Oh, Hades, nice one. Yeah.
See, fuck you guys. I'm smart. You all can suck a butthole.
You learned that from the Hercules movie, didn't you?
Yeah, I love that Disney movie.
So Nick did bring up the shootings that have taken place. So today is Sunday, August 4th. And this weekend was a brutal one. I think there was 3 mass shootings over
Plus
the
the
weekend.
Garlic Fest like a week ago.
Yeah. And then there was one in Texas and then one in Ohio. It's gotten really bad lately. And it's not that I really want to keep dragging this episode down and getting serious. It's not. But I feel bad doing comedy in this context without acknowledging how fucked up that kind of stuff is, you know? And it's hard to only be funny when you've got such a huge problem in the back of your mind like that.
Yeah, a lot of people, it's gonna come up again. If I can get rid of the guns, do this guns. Look how easily they got a gun.
Yeah.
Granted, yes, it's really easy to murder a bunch of people easily with the gun, but what's the difference of them having like a fucking samurai sword and start running and slicing people before someone gets to them and stops them? I mean, it's just the person's crazy. It's not.
It is, but there's also a reasonable chance that you could escape someone running around with a fucking samurai sword.
Well, yeah, I know, but I mean, they can still, murder people if they wanted to.
They could.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that getting rid of guns is the key, but getting rid of the kind of guns that are being used in mass shootings, like assault rifles, might be a compromise that more and more people should be willing to have, because you simply cannot say that we don't have a problem with this anymore. And you can't say that we're doing everything we can about it. Most people won't even fucking talk about it because they go, oh, it's too soon to bring up gun control, or here comes the libs talking about gun control again. It's like, when there's not a shooting, which I don't remember the last time there hasn't been a fresh shooting, but when there's not, no one wants to talk about it because they think everything's fine again. And when there is, they go, oh, it's too soon. Well, guess what? We're going to have some fucking uncomfortable conversations too soon now, because, I mean, it's happening every day. We've gone through 215 days this year, and there has been the statistic I saw today, I think it's 242 shootings, which means we're averaging more than one per day for at least the second year in a row.
Right. I mean, Australia took away guns, right? Like, they don't have any. I never researched it much.
Yeah.
I know they got rid of them after like a mass massacre back, I don't know, years ago.
And you know how many shootings they've had this year?
I don't know.
2.
Right.
We've had 240 some.
Right. So, I mean, it's always going to be like 50-50 for me. Yeah, it's probably good. But then, what if fucking martial law comes about it, or the government tries to take us over and we have no shit to try to fight back? It gets...
And here's what I have to say to that. I'm so glad you said that, because a lot of people say
welcome.
that. They say that guns are right and we need to have them in case we ever have to be up in arms against our government or an invasion or whatever. Okay, fine. If you want to play that card, here's the flip side. What you're saying is that a hypothetical situation that maybe could happen in the future is more important than an actual situation that we're dealing with right now. Well, now, if there was no shootings going on, there would be no issue against gun rights. No one would be trying to take them. But is having the potential for needing to revolt against our government, is that really more important to you than the lives we're already losing right now?
As like a family point of view, saying... take away the guns and stuff, just in case of that hypothetical situation, I think the family, like the father, would rather have the guns in case that shit does happen, because if something does happen, he has nothing to protect himself. And then if the government are the only ones that have guns, then, and what they're doing is fucked up, he has no way to be like, oh shit, I can't protect them now.
Yeah, and I'm taking that as read, and I understand that this is a very nuanced issue with people really dug in on both sides, but we have to be able to at least talk about it. And what I'm saying is not that we need to take away all guns. I don't think that'll ever work, and I don't think it'll ever happen in this country. But there's certain guns that we don't practically need and that are being used constantly for these shootings. And I'm talking about assault rifles. If you're walking around with handguns, there's a reasonable expectation that you could get some shots off, but you're not going to be able to unload 30 to 50 rounds into people before you even have to drop the clip, you know? There's no reason to need that. If someone's attacking your house, if a pistol's not going to take care of it, then you're probably in bigger shit than you would be able to handle with an assault rifle, too.
Yeah, just get a bazooka.
But, and I don't want people to think that I'm anti-gun. I'm not. I enjoy shooting them. I even enjoy shooting assault rifles in the proper context. But I don't think that anybody should be putting hypothetical situations as more important than actual situations. We are actually dealing with a crisis where a bunch of white supremacist douchebag men are going around killing people with these guns. Not hypothetically, not what if these guys are doing it. It's fucking happening.
You know what's crazy? Remember, it was like a couple years back where they had that little like small shooting at the Mount Vernon Mall that one day.
Yeah.
I was there, right? I was there at the mall that day, but then we left for some weird reason, and it happened like 20 minutes after we left.
Wow.
It was crazy because we were at Chuck E. Cheese and stuff hanging out, and I was like,
No
holy
shit.
shit.
Wow. Yeah. I've never been in a situation quite like that. The closest I think I've been was they had one at my high school, and this was years after I graduated, but they had one at
that one.
Marysville Pilchuck.
And that was like over a girl too, wasn't it? Wasn't it kind of like the boy was pissed and he was trying to get back at the three
There's a
people.
lot of he said, she said shit. The thing is, that one might be a little bit different than these mass shootings with these guys going into malls and all that.
Like the biggest one I think is that fucked up Vegas one, and then there's always conspiracies about like they knew it was gonna happen or that was the government trying to. It's conspiracies are fun and funny. I don't know, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean we talked about those with DJ Fallen a little bit, and the more I think about, I mean, conspiracy theories are fine. Thinking about that stuff is fine, but people have started to spread that kind of shit as if it's truth, and they've tried to say, oh, look at these two shooters, they look the same, this is a false flag government operation or whatever. Stop that. All you're doing is cheating people out of having an honest conversation about it. And yeah, it's just I don't know what the answer is, but I'm tired of people being afraid to fucking talk about it. We're never gonna get to an answer if we can't have discussions without it being, well, fuck you, it's my right.
Well, I mean, you really can't have discussions like this with rational people because they get offended pretty easily.
Yeah, and that seems to be the theme of today's show, is just dealing with
offensive people.
People are easily offended.
Stupid, retarded people.
And I hate the term snowflake.
Whoa, what does that mean?
It's, you know what that means.
Like, you want to do some
Easily.
snowflakes?
No,
you want to
like-
do some, like, snow off the
Do a
table?
little noseboarding.
Yeah, let's do that.
No, snowflakes. Like, it's usually used against liberals. Like, oh, you liberal snowflakes.
Yeah.
Everything offends you. Well, guess what?
I try to...
Republicans are the same way.
I'm just look straight ahead and not worry about anything kind of person. So I don't know any of these political stuff, or I try not to get into it.
I try not to get political. My Twitter occasionally gets political if I see a fucked up tweet or something that I need to mention. I keep it completely off Facebook.
I was thinking about this while we were at the comedy show, how funny it would be if I wore a Make America Great Again hat and see how many reactions I would get from people or get
I wouldn't
beat
have
up.
hung out with you.
You wouldn't have hung out with me? I just want to do that one time, but then I'm just concerned for my safety. That's fucked up. You have to worry about that. You can't wear what you want. You can, but then you'll end up on TMZ because you're going to get shot or beat up or on camera.
Yeah. It's because people... how do I want to say this? It's an identifier. It tells people that you have certain values that they most likely disagree with. Now, you might want America to be a great country again. Fine. But that phrase and those hats and all that has been co-opted by Trump. And so basically, if you wear that, you are supporting what he says and does and all that shit.
Why can't they be like, oh, look, that person wants to make America great again despite where it came from. Why can't they do that, huh?
Because they're going, he wants to make America great again by eliminating all the minorities. And
Yeah, and building a fucking wall.
Yeah.
Which we're going to
Like,
start
that's gonna
building with
fucking
these
work.
cans. We're going to get there little by little.
there we are. And Mexico's going to pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they're just going to go right under it and give us more Coca-Cola. No, they're probably bringing in. Have you seen all the fucking Coke bust lately?
Yeah.
Someone's going to fucking get their head chopped off from stopping and coming to America, dude. Someone's going to get pissed.
Yeah.
There's been so many.
Well, I mean, and it's good, but it's crazy to think that even though they're busting these little ships with like hundreds of pounds of it,
You know
there's
what?
still plenty getting in.
If they would just really, if they really thought about it, okay? If they really, really wanted to, they can make all the drugs legal, but just keep it to where people can only buy so much or go to the store and buy it. Because no matter what you do, people are always going to be addicted to something. Okay?
Yeah.
You can't stop that unless you throw them in jail or make them go to rehab.
Agree.
If they controlled all the substances like they do with weed, I feel like all those like, drug problems from like other countries would go away.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I want to party because it's, let's see, New Year's Eve. I'm just going to get me a little teener Coke and just go party.
Yeah, or even if there was establishments where you could go to where you were able to use it, like they might have some medical staff on hand in case you took too much or in case you were having a bad reaction. And they not only controlled the quality, but they controlled the environment. Like, there are ways that we could make that acceptable. The problem is they're so addictive that it would be basically giving people a free pass to addiction,
Yeah, that, and then maybe they try to rob the place. But I'm saying I feel
Or that.
it would eliminate some shit. But like I said, there's always gonna be people being addicted, getting it from a store, or being addicted and going to some fucking weird crack house and getting it. I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean,
I'm gonna run for president, guys, and we're gonna just have a bunch of boners, bunch of porn stars.
so do you want me to be your vice president?
You could be the treasurer.
The what?
What? Why would I say that?
Who's going to be your vice president, asshole?
Jennifer Aniston.
Never going to happen.
I know.
Why don't you make her the treasurer?
Cause she.
I worked so hard for this. I deserve VP.
A DP? No problem, dude.
VP.
DP.
DVD.
DP. Hey, I didn't bring it. Did I bring up any homosexual stuff today?
Not yet, but it sounds like that's about to change.
Nope.
Nope.
That's fine.
Nice. Sticking with retard today, huh?
Yeah. Retard's the word of the day, guys.
It's not.
It's like having a consensual retard day.
Look, I'm backing off of my censorship on you, but that doesn't mean I want you to make words of the day out of these things.
It's just retard's been around for ages.
Yeah.
And isn't there another worse word than retard?
There's a few of them, but we've already been over this.
Then retard's on the bottom pole of the that shouldn't be offensive.
Look, it's kind of like the word cunt.
Cunts.
You can say it in contexts that are not bad or anything.
Yeah, like
but,
when you're measuring, just be like, just a cunt hair and just
Yeah.
mark it up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
RCH, stuff like that. There are ways that you can use those words without it, but there's worse words to where it's pretty much always going to be taken badly. And you don't want to highlight those words. I don't ever want the C word to be our word of the day. I don't want retard to be our word of the day. I don't want fag or anything like that to be it.
Fairy.
They're words
Can I
I'll
say
allow
fairy?
you to use, but yeah, you can say fairy or whatever.
Okay.
Or in England, they used to. I don't know if they still do. They used to call them poofs.
Poof?
Poofs.
Poof.
Monty Python, for as great as they are.
Oh,
and as
it's only
hilarious as they
okay
are, they
because
call it all
Monty
the time.
Python says it.
No, that was in the 70s. They don't say that shit a whole lot anymore. But even if they did, why? This whole subject, it just gets me going.
I made you wheel.
I made you a fag.
I got no money for fags.
I no longer like vagina. Ha 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 ha. I go find smaller penis.
I got
Bend-
a butthole for
Bend
you.
over, Grapthor, give me butt.
Gang banging in this room. Too hairy. No.
Maybe we put wheel down and invent fire.
Maybe we put wheel down and make a fake vagina. Maybe we put dick inside of the hole in the wheel.
We put dick in hole and wheel to start fire.
Yeah, and
We
then
didn't start the fire. It is always burning since the world's been turning, and we didn't start the fire.
Yay!
See, and that's what I love about how we talk on this show. I love it that we can get serious, or I can rant, or you can rant, and we can really explore a topic, but then we still try to come out of it laughing because we're not actually trying to solve any world problems on this show. But these are real things that people talk about.
Can I be honest with you?
No.
I don't know deep down if I really do have like ADD or some type of, when you're going on these rants, I have to like look at you pretty hard and like pay attention to what you're saying so I don't lose it, so then I can respond back. But it's not just you. I'm just saying in general.
No.
I have to like really pay attention.
So I can't go on rants anymore?
No,
unless
you
you're
can't
gonna
go on
daydream?
rants. I just want you to know I'm really paying attention to what you're saying. So I'm like, what'd you say?
You're probably paying better attention to what I'm saying than I am.
Yeah.
Half the
true.
time, like, I don't know if anyone else is like this, but half the time when I'm about to start on something like that, I know roughly what I want to say, but then my brain kind of clicks off, and I'm just speaking out of, like,
You can go on
instinct
a
almost.
subject with your instincts for like an hour.
Yeah.
I know this.
Which isn't good, because that would take up our whole show.
Yeah. And then that's where I got to come in with my little, you gay asshole, you
Yeah.
suck a dick. And then it throws you off. And then we go back to,
And that's
medieval
the funny
fucking.
bit.
Yeah.
Medieval or caveman fucking.
Yeah.
Those medieval tortures, that was...
Yeah, that's pretty
Gross,
fucked up,
man.
right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I don't think even Indians back then had, like, weird shit like that. I know they had, like, scalping. They'd scalp people back then.
Yeah, and that's one of the grosser things I've ever seen in movies is when they try and make that look realistic.
I would really hate to, like, it would.
It's
It's always like
myself
one in a
out.
million, right? I know there's really sick, fucked up people out there who will do shit like the movie Saw. Like, I don't think you've ever seen it. But
I've seen the first one. No, not the third one. I've seen the fourth one.
I know there's probably people fucked up that actually do weird shit like that to people.
Maybe.
Or just, like Ted Bundy murdering people. It would suck to be on the other side of that and being like so painfully and just like, oh, this is how I'm going to die.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's why I just like being sheltered anymore. I'm
Yeah.
just going to stay in my shell. You can't I'm always scared of like,
You can't
Kid-
get me. I'm in my shell. You can't touch me.
I'm
in
just
my
glad
nutshell.
I'm circumcised so I don't have a weird looking turtle shell dick like you weird guys out there. My dick doesn't have to smell like cheese, or I don't have to pull it back and be like, ha. Sucks for you guys.
Why do you have to tuck it in all the time like you do then?
Well, because I try to be like, that one
I'd fuck
Buffalo
me.
Bill,
Yeah.
Buffalo Bob. I'd fuck me.
I first saw that movie when I was like 9 or 10 years old at my dad's house. That's not a good time to see Silence of the Lambs.
No, it's pretty scary though.
Yeah.
Was it scary? I watched a scary movie I don't like watching. I was driving home the other night, right? I went the back way, like Highway 9 the whole way.
After the comedy
Yeah.
show? Okay.
And then I took a left to go into Stanwood, but I'm like, fuck, this is like a really scary area. And then it's pitch black. There's nothing around. If I get stuck, I'm going to get scared because it's just all pitch black. And I was like, fuck, what if there's like some weird ghost out here right now?
Yeah.
But if there was like, if I had like my family or like a girlfriend with me, my instincts would like turn on. I'd be like, oh, I'm not fucking scared. It's weird how that happens. When I'm by myself, I'm like, oh shit. Someone around, I'm like, oh, I could tough this out.
Yeah, that's funny you bring that up. I've been the same way multiple times. Like, if I was walking down a dark alley and suddenly saw someone pop off a few gunshots, I
Yeah.
would be terrified and I'd probably run away. But
Yeah.
when that's happened in person, I was able to, suddenly kind of calm all that down and go, okay, other people need you, so we got to get them into the bar, lock it down, all that shit. There really is an element of, and it's probably the same for other guys and for women and stuff too, where it's like once you have on that protection instinct instead of the fight or flight response.
Yeah, it's like a protective mode that switches on or something.
Yeah, like mothers do all the time. It's probably the same thing. I'm not a father, so I don't really know how it is with a kid, except for the fact that when I'm around kids and something scary comes up, I do try to protect them.
Right.
But yeah, when you're by yourself, you have no reason to act tough, and you have
I know.
all you're doing is fight or flight. You're only worried about you. When there's other people around, you got to worry about them too. At least the good men, the brave men and women, they're the ones who are able to kind of shut off that fear and just be like, okay, other people need me. I got to step up, you know?
Yeah.
Normally, Nick's crying in the corner behind the jukebox, though.
And that was my jizz that's going to fly over to your face, and you're going to have my babies.
Moist.
Moist in it.
All right, guys, that is our time for this episode.
Yeah, and you guys better like it, because then if you don't, you're fucking retarded.
And
I'm just kidding.
Congratulations to Bree and to Wade. You guys won the free hoodies. We'll be doing more of that shit soon. And,
Yep.
Yeah.
Have a good day today, and try to go play some hide and seek, and do it Holocaust style. But as Jesse always says,
Please have a consensual day.
yeah, buddy.